there. So I know I mentioned in some of my previous vlogs that I went to Cairns to see the Great Barrier Reef back in March, and I thought it was just interesting to talk about the ocean because a couple of days before I headed up there, there was a huge trending news on Facebook that there's a massive coral bleaching that's going on in the Great Barrier Reef. And it turned out to be true, and it was definitely disappointing for us because when we went there, we thought that it was going to be like Finding Nemo, was going to be very colorful. We didn't think that it would come to this when we head up there and most of it is white and they're actually dying. And it's interesting because our tour guide, he said that, oh, you guys are very lucky. The Great Barrier Reef is going to be extinct in 30 years or 20 years. But what's surprising to us is actually it's dying right now. So because of that, I decided to do a vlog on the current condition of our oceans and what we can do to conserve it. So coastal areas are some of the most productive and biologically diverse areas on Earth, and the United Nations estimates that 60% of the world's population live within 60 kilometers from coastal areas as well. So it's also the most densely populated. And on top of that, 80% of tourism takes place in coastal areas as well because the most popular destinations are beaches and coral reefs. And guess what? The world's leading tourist destination is the Mediterranean. Every single year, 220 million people flock to that area and 100 million of them head to the beaches. And obviously, tourism has a significant impact on the region because of urbanization. When you have infrastructure going on, it's going to change the natural environment, it's going to lead to a loss in species. Additionally, we've seen in one of my last vlogs in hotels, and these hotels definitely increase the pressure on resources such as water. Moving on to land-based activities. So land-based activities account for 80% of the marine's pollution, and a lot of it has to do with waste. So whether it's due to oils, fertilizers, sewage disposal, garbage, toxic chemicals, and so forth, all of this actually either get deliberately dumped into the ocean or it gets run off into the river through drains and rivers. But I think the most important issue is definitely the plastic disposal. Apparently in the Great Pacific Ocean, there's a huge garbage patch and it's known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is so large that it's like the size of Texas and you could see it from outer space. I think that garbage disposal is an incredibly difficult issue to tackle, and one of the ways that governments can make a difference is to enact and enforce strict proper garbage disposal regulations. And I think that there needs to be increased awareness both for the governments in the world and the fisheries that are out there. If the governments can also somehow trace and penalize those who are polluting the seas. I know that that's a very difficult thing to do. Obviously, the ocean is a vast area and there are many boats out there, but I think that would make an incredibly huge difference. Next, another major factor that's affecting the ocean is overfishing. So the global fishing fleet is 2 to 3 times than what the ocean can support. That means that it's not sustainable and we're overfishing. In fact, 53% of the fisheries are exploited and 32% of them are overexploited, they've been depleted, or they're recovering from depletion. This is happening because of poor fisheries management, poor practices. There are too many subsidies that the government is giving out, so there are too many boats on the water, and unfair fisheries partnership agreement where foreign fleets are allowed to overfish in developing countries. So there's so many things, again, the government can do. They can require all these fisheries and just fishermen to have improved practices and management. There's got to be, again, increased awareness on both ends, the businesses and the government. There should be tougher international laws and less subsidies for boats to be out there on the waters. And consumers can do their part as well. They can look into sustainable eating and eat less seafood. In essence, I think that there needs to be more protection by the governments and international bodies when it comes to the ocean. For the land, 12% of the land is protected by reserves and national parks, but for the ocean, less than 2% of it is protected in the world. Considering the fact that the ocean is such a huge support system for us and it supplies 50% of our oxygen, it's just of a great concern that we're harming the ocean on such a significant scale. So yeah, there's definitely more work and more effort to be done by fisheries, by the governments, and us as consumers. And that's it for my last vlog. I hope that you enjoyed my vlog so far, and thank you for watching all of them. Have a good one. Bye.